Yeah, you'll be getting people back quick.
You ready for me, or you want me to wait a sec?
Uh, let's go.
Okie dokie, let's go.
Let's go. People hesitate.
Sounds like a wiener to me. Um, and just so you know, Coach, I can't see anybody's face or see the chat or anything. So if something pops up that I need to know about, please let me know. Let me know.
Yeah.
Um, so I appreciate you having me. Thank you so much for trusting me with your group. It's not an easy thing to do. I certainly get that. As I mentioned in the three things I got done back in Q2, I get to take business groups down to Disney for full immersion boot camps. We spend 3 days down there. Excuse me. We spend half the day in the classroom, half the day in the theme parks, and then have a whole bunch of curated experiences. And at the end of it, you have a plan on how you're going to Disneyfy your business when you get home Monday morning. And my last group here, this is 30 some odd attorneys, and I survived going to Disney with 30 attorneys. Managed to avoid any lawsuits and things like that. So this is me and my former boss. Great guy to work for. He very demanding, but I certainly I learned a lot. Has anybody been to Disney before? A couple of you, maybe? No,
Mhm.
sort of. Nobody wants to admit to it. Okay, well that's fine. Well, if you haven't been, um, I highly recommend you go and put your business hat on. And I do this a lot because, well, I'm not big with the lines, so I'll just sit on a bench and watch people. But I also watch Disney's processes and systems, and I mean, how they move hundreds of thousands of people every day around, 50,000 some odd acres is no small feat. And with 99% of them actually being happy about it. So they're definitely worthy of study when it comes to process systems, and of course, what they're known for, which is the guest experience. As Coach mentioned, about 20 years ago, after realizing I make a lousy employee, I don't like to be told what to do. You can just ask the first and second ex Mrs. Morris, and I'm sure they will also tell you all about that. But 20 years ago, I started a carpet cleaning business. Over the years, added a Oriental rug washing facility to it and a mold remediation company. And fast forward to today, I have a general manager who runs the whole thing, and I spend about 90 minutes a week on those three businesses, which gives me time to do what I really enjoy doing, which is working with my clients on customer experience and customer retention. And I show this slide not so much to brag, but to show you the breadth of kinds of companies that I've worked with, and that really nobody on the call should be able to say, but my business is different. This won't work because I own a Motel 6 in Poughkeepsie. That's just not going to cut it. This covers every single kind of business, from rocket ships to coaches to senior living and to chicken plants. So, real quick, let me take a quick poll, if I may. How many of you think you deliver great service? Oh, all right. Well, I guess that's okay. Well, you are about the average. I would have hoped everybody would have raised their hands, but 80% of businesses say they deliver great service, which is about what was on the hands raised today. The problem is that only 8% of the customers of those companies think that they deliver great service. So there's a huge disconnect between what we think we're delivering and what our customers are experiencing. So we got to overcome this really large gap of perceptions. And one of the things I like to talk about, because, well, we are all in business to make money, is why on earth would I want to create an experience for my clients. I mean, that sounds expensive. Well, for a certain part of the population, people pay for the experiences. So I'm going to zing through this pretty quick, but 31% of the population is willing to spend up to 10% more for the same product or service just to get a better experience. So if you sell hammers and you deliver a better hammer buying experience, you can charge up to 10% more for it. And then as we go up, all the way to the tippy top, 10% of the population is willing to spend 31% or more for the same product or service just to get a better experience. That top 10% is where we need to direct our marketing efforts. We want people who are willing to spend 30% or more for the same product or service. My carpet cleaning business, we're about 40% higher than our closest competitor. I'd love to think that we cleaned carpet 40% better than everybody else, but it's probably not the case. But we do deliver an experience that is absolutely over the top and you would not expect from a home service company. So there's a really good book, highly recommend that you get it. It's called The Experience Economy. I think one of the authors' name was Pine. And they had this thing called the progression of economic value. And on one side, you have your competitive position. And then along the bottom, you have your pricing. And at the bottom are commodities. These are basic materials, right? Butcher, baker, candlestick maker. Commodities cannot be differentiated. And the only thing that sets the price of a commodity is the marketplace. Okay, think flour, sugar, wheat. The marketplace sets that. Sadly, we are all in commodity businesses. Some of us are marketing people. Some of us are dentists or whatever. A dentist is a dentist is a dentist. There's only so many ways to clean teeth. Okay, so the only way you can separate yourself from everybody else is the experience that you deliver. A step above commodities are goods, and goods are made from the commodities, and there's a little bit of leeway in pricing when it comes to that. So let's say we had iron ore as our commodity, and the good made from the iron ore would be steel. And then the next step up, we now have a higher competitive advantage. Our pricing is increasing, and we have the services. And these are the intangible activities. All right. Service providers use the goods, which are comprised of the commodities, to perform their service. So they're getting a much higher price for that. And then at the tippy top are experiences. And bottom line, experiences are memorable. Okay. If you are getting forgotten, well, you're not really delivering an experience, and your customers are going to forget about you, sadly. And no two people can have the same experience. All right. So if you and I went out to dinner, we were having a business meeting and we both got chicken, we'd probably have a good time and our chicken was okay and tasted good. And maybe at the table next to us, there was a couple, and the husband was breaking up with the wife, and he was going to go marry his, 22-year-old secretary. And they both were having chicken. Well, our chicken is going to taste a heck of a lot better than the bride who just got dumped, because it's the experience all around it. So let's do something here. Let's bake a cake. All right. And I'll give you a great example of the commodity to experience thing. So those of us of a certain age, we can remember our mothers making our birthday cakes from scratch. They actually touch the commodities, sugar, cocoa, eggs, etc. How much did these ingredients cost? Maybe back then $1, maybe $2 for the ingredients to go into a cake. Then along came cake in a box, right? You get all of those commodity ingredients shoved into that box, and then you get your tub of fake frosting, and it's all prepackaged. Now, how much do these things cost? Now, I don't buy them because I think it's gross, but they're definitely a few bucks more than the basic commodities. So let's just say, for sake of argument, you could get these things for about $15 total. That higher cost was the trade-off between convenience and time. And we're about 5x more expensive, but you're paying for the same base commodities. Then along comes the bakeries and the grocery stores, right? In the 80s, most parents just stopped baking altogether. Instead, they went to the store and they were able to specify exactly what kind of cake they wanted and the flavors and the inscription. And these cakes cost at least 10 times what a home baked cake cost, right? You can go to your grocery store, get a half sheet cake for 40 or 50 bucks. So now we are like 10x more than the base commodities. We still only got a couple dollars worth of commodity ingredients in there, but now we're getting services for that. And most people think this is a great bargain, time and energy saved. Well, what do families do now? They outsource, right? They outsource the birthday party. God forbid you go to Chuck E. Cheese's, worst food ever. But they go to Bonkers or Dave and Buster's. Any of you guys have daughters that have American Girls? Any of you? Nope. Do you guys know what American Girl is?
I grew up on American Girls.
You grew up on
Yeah.
American Girl. Okay, so you can
I
relate to
raised a
this.
daughter who had to go every year for a couple of years.
There you go. Okay. So you all know, you probably, well, Sarah's parents probably had to get a second mortgage in order to take care of. So, I mean, it's a doll, right? It's a big hunk of plastic from China. And you can get a doll at Walmart for about $10, right? Same hunk of plastic from China. But American Girl sells for about 5 to 6 times that plastic. So your base American Girl is about 50 or 60 bucks. And then you got to add costumes to it, or uniforms, right? You can't just have one outfit. So you buy 2 or 3 outfits to go along with it. And those outfits are 25, 30 bucks each. So now you're up to about $100 for the doll. Did you know American Girl has the longest amount of time a consumer will spend in a store? It's about 3 hours.
Wow.
Now, what could they possibly be doing in a store for 3 hours? A doll store, of all things. Well, you got to get your picture taken with the doll. So you go to the American Girl photo studio and you get your picture taken for another 40 bucks. But wait, you can't go get your picture taken yet because you haven't gotten your hair done yet. So you go to the American Girl beauty salon and you and your doll get matching hairdos, right? So now we're up another 40 or 50 bucks. Well, you've been there for a couple hours. Now you're hungry, right? So you go to the American Girl restaurant and you drop another 60 or 70 bucks. So now we're up to about $200, $250 for a doll that you could get at Walmart for 10 bucks. But it doesn't stop there. Did you know you can have your birthday party at American Girl? The whole experience? For about $350 a kid, you and 90 of your closest friends can go and have your birthday party at American Girl. And if anybody think it ends there? No, doesn't end there. No, you can have your sleepover birthday party at American Girl, which starts at $500 a head. So now we're up to a $5,000 birthday event centered around the $10 doll. That's the difference between a $10 doll at Walmart and a doll experience at American Girl. And what I'd suggest is that you look to the leaders in whatever category you're looking for, but certainly in customer experience. And one of the things we need to talk about is that satisfied customers defect all the time. So if you think you're sitting pretty because my customers are satisfied, well, you know what? They are just one coupon away from being taken away from you. You have to aim for more than just satisfaction, because they leave. Satisfied customers do nothing for your business because nobody raves about average, right? When was the last time you went down and you sat down at the dinner table with the whole family and you said, oh my God, you'll never guess what happened at the oil change today, right? That conversation is not happening because oil changes are boring. But if you were my client, who runs he owns 4 oil change places, name's Jackson, great guy. We Disneyfied his oil change place. And now people do say, oh my God, you'll never guess what happened at the oil change today. We actually have a barista in his waiting room making your favorite coffee drink. And he's charging about 35% more than his closest competitor. So how does Disney do it? Right? I travel all over the world. I speak and consult on customer experience and customer loyalty. And I kind of get this question all the time. You guys want the truth? Think you can handle the truth? Somebody nod. Okay. All right. Thank you, Dylan. I appreciate the nod. Well, the truth is, we just all go out on the big Buick in the parking lot and we do lines of pixie dust. And that's how we get, no, I'm just kidding. We'll get to the real reason in just a second. So you generally don't hear, I got to make sure y'all are awake, so if I pull that gag. Anyway, so you won't find magic on a financial statement, right? You can't amortize it. You can't depreciate it. So how then does the Disney company, a multi-bajillion-dollar global enterprise, make so much money around magic? I mean, there's nothing real about magic, right? It's only an illusion. Now think about it from your point of view. If you've been to a magic show, right? You're sitting in the audience and you're like, oh my God, wow, wonderment. This is incredible. How'd he make the elephant disappear? How'd he chop the lady into 26 pieces and put her back together again? Well, for us, it's amazement. For the magician, think about it from his point of view. All it is practiced, repeatable, and replicatable hand movements and systems designed to create the illusion. So Disney really has practical magic all figured out. And that's what they do. They have repeatable, replicatable, and practiced systems that deliver the experience time and time again. So I'm not much of a math guy, but I do have what's called the hidden profit formula. And the first part of the hidden profit formula is cast. And that's what they call the employees at Walt Disney World. Okay, they are called cast members. And so if we get to the secret of how Disney does it, they get employees fanatical about swooping down to pick up the smallest pieces of trash. And we sometimes can't even get our 3-person office to answer the phone the way we want them to, right? So how does Disney do this with their cast members? And they do it through the hiring process. Now, I am a firm believer in hiring for attitude because I can train all the rest. You want to carry a tray in a restaurant, change a bus tire, clean a carpet, I can train you how to do that. But I can't train you to be nice, right? So there was this viral post a number of years ago, and this small little cherub of a child, he looks so happy right now, was told by his parents that if he behaves on the Disney vacation, they'll buy him a new Slinky dog, right, from Toy Story, which, by the way, Toy Story 5 is out. I haven't seen it, but I've heard great things. Not that I'm shilling for Disney, don't get me wrong. So they were getting ready to check out, and they were going to go have breakfast before they got on the road. And Mom was going to go check on the reservations, and she left Dad and the kid and the Slinky on the park bench. And she says to Dad, watch the kid, watch the Slinky. Well, Mom waves over from the restaurant, time to eat. So the kid and Dad get up. Dad did not do his duty, and they left the Slinky behind on the park bench. Well, they went through breakfast. They got about halfway through a 5-hour drive when from the back seat, the kid starts having a meltdown. Bah! Where's my Slinky? And for the next 2 hours, that's what that woman heard because of the idiot husband. We always blame the idiot husband. That's why he's never in the pictures at Disney, because he's always taking the pictures. Well, she got home and she called up Disney and their lost and found department and said, did anybody turn in a Slinky? Now, I see a couple of you chuckling, and on the surface, that could be a funny question. But the person who answered the phone was a service professional. And the first words out of her mouth were, "Oh my God, tell me what happened." "Well, my idiot husband was supposed to watch the kid in the slinky. He didn't. We left the slinky behind, and now we don't have the slinky, and my kid's having a meltdown." "Oh, no problem. Just give me your address. I'll mail you a new one." No proof of purchase, no receipt, no nothing. How many of you guys would have done that? Couple of you? Okay, that's fair. I might have done that too. Well, here's what Disney did, and this was a cast member just thinking outside the box. In addition to this slinky, she sent along a bucket of green army men and a new Woody, and included a little note, and it said, "It seems like Slinky wasn't ready to come home yet, and then we didn't want him to be lonely inside the box, so we included some friends with him." How many of you would have done that? Still, you would do that. Okay, all right. Let's see if you do the next one, because this doesn't end the story, because that would be boring. Well, that cast member included pictures of all the characters all around the resort, and included the pictures inside the package. All right, lady, would you have done that? Yeah, you seriously, you're ruining my show here. Oh my goodness. Okay, that's all right, Ziza. We got you covered. But think about how much it cost Disney to do that, right? Probably all of about $50. Again, a whole bunch of plastic from China, right? They shove it into a box, they mail it, and probably had 20 minutes of the cast members' time and some postage. $50, or maybe $75 if you want to go big. All to ensure that that family was going to come back to Disney again and again and again. And they're going to tell all of their friends how amazing Disney was. Disney could not buy this kind of marketing. They couldn't. This had millions and millions of views and comments and everything like that. So think about it. If you could take $50, right, and insert it into a slot machine, and $100,000 popped out each time, you'd sit at that slot machine and keep feeding it money because it was dishing it out for you. So when you're looking at customer service recovery, or just doing something for a guest, think about it as an investment more so than a cost. The next part of the profit formula is show, or a quality client experience. See, we had to have a great employee experience first. That's why cast comes first, because if your employees aren't having a great experience, there's no way in hell they're going to deliver one to your customers.
Mhm.
So this is the one that everybody loves to talk about, right? Because the wow thing, it's all sexy. And I've used the term a couple of times, Disneyfy. And if you want to define Disneyfy, it's creating experiences out of the mundane, right? So we all have boring, mundane things we need to do day in and day out to keep the business up and running, right? And Disney's just figured out a way to create an experience out of all of them. I'm sure many of you have been on Southwest before, and Southwest can tend to be a comedy show sometimes. So we were on this one flight, and you know how the FAA mandates that that they say, "Hey, be careful opening up the overhead bins. Items have a tendency to shift in flight." Every airline is required by the FAA to say that. So on this particular flight, we're going in, and the flight attendants, they come on and they make their announcement. They say, "Yeah, be careful opening up the overhead bins. Items have a tendency to shift in flight." And as you know, shift happens. Okay, so that didn't roll very well. All right. Well, anyway, on the same flight, you know how when you hit the runway and they put those reverse thruster things on to slow the plane down? So we're going. We hit the runway, reverse thrusters come on, and over the PA system, the captain's going, "Whoa, doggy." Oh, you laugh at that one, but not the other one. I see what kind of crowd this is. All right. Well, by law, they have to say these things. But we got off of that plane and we were actually smiling. Me and 189 other people, right? When was the last time you got off a flight and you were smiling? I mean, not just the fact that you were getting off the airplane, but that you had an enjoyable flight. Somebody did something to make it good for you. This leads to doing everything in your business as a performance. This is what Disney does. They are performers. They don't have a workplace. They work on stage. Actually, they perform on stage and they take breaks off stage. And as I mentioned, their employees are called cast members. And we do good show and bad show walkthroughs. And every job is like an actor on stage. So I've taken this and I've applied this to the carpet cleaning business. So one of the boring, mundane things that we do is get in the front door. And if we can't get in the front door, well, we can't do our job. So we created an entire experience out of this. And it starts out in the street. We park in the street. We don't park in the driveway. God forbid I've got an oil leak. Now I got something else I got to clean up. The technician gets out of his van. He's in a clean, crisp uniform because he carries extra uniforms with him. He also doesn't smell because I forbid smoking and I forbid cologne. Nothing worse than the Marlboro man who just took a shower in Axe showing up in your living room. That's kind of gross. So he gets his special mat. He gets a gift. He walks up to the front door. He lays down the special mat, and then he knocks on the door. He doesn't ring the bell because friends knock. Takes a couple of steps back. Mrs. McGillicuddy will answer the door, and the technician will say, "Hi, my name's Josh. I'm here to create your healthy home. May I come in?" We don't just barge in. And as we're going in the home, we wipe our feet on the special mat. We do a big exaggeration of it. And then we put booties on our clean shoes. And as we're going in the front door, we give Mrs. McGillicuddy a gift. Now, when was the last time you had a home service professional come to your house, whether it be pest control, carpet cleaner, plumber, air conditioning, whatever, and they gave you a gift before they did any work? I'm going to hazard a guess it's never happened. Unless you happen to live on the eastern shore of Maryland, where I am, in which case we would have done that for you. Now, what does the gift do? Well, the gift does two things. One, it sets us apart from everybody else because there ain't nobody else doing it. And so people talk about us. "Oh my God, you'll never guess what happened when the carpet cleaner was here today. They gave me a gift when we walked in the front door." The gift also does something else. It starts a process called reciprocity. I give something to you, you feel compelled to give something back to me. And we saw, when we implemented a gift, we saw a 26% increase in our mid-tier package, or about an additional $65,000, $70,000 in sales every year, just from a gift that cost less than $5. So think about how you can do these little wow moments for your guests or your clients. But the other thing we got to watch out for is managing the unwow. Right? So what is this a picture of? This is back pain stuff, right? Salon paws and back wraps and all that. You guys notice where it is? It's on the bottom shelf.
Bottom shelf.
Now, what moron puts the back pain stuff on the bottom shelf, making people with back pain bend over and get it? Right? This is an unwow kind of thing, right? And this is actually at my local Walgreens. And I asked the manager, I said, "Why is the back pain stuff on the lower shelf?" And he goes, "Corporate planogram." I said, "Well, that's stupid." And he goes, "Yeah, I kind of agree." So I went back like 3 months later. They hadn't changed it. So anyway, manage your unwow better than Walgreens does. The next part to Disneyfying and wowing is paying attention to the details, okay? And everything at Disney is, I mean, they fanatically overmanage the details. And we're all in detail-oriented businesses, whether it's in finance or plumbing or what have you. We've got to manage the details. And this post here in the picture is in the Magic Kingdom, and it gets painted every single night of the year. And Disney knows at what time at night to paint it so that it will be dry for the first time or for the first guest the next morning. And they know it based on temperature and humidity and the weather and all that stuff, right? So this is, you really can't measure an ROI on this. It's difficult. And not everything has to have a measurable ROI. Sometimes you're doing things to invest in your clients and you're really buying their sustained enthusiasm. If you can believe it, McDonald's used to justify bathroom cleaning as a marketing expense. That was a long time ago. I don't think they clean them anymore. So if you know that if you increased your attention to detail to just something in your business, and that would increase customer loyalty, how much more attention would you be willing to focus on it? And I'll leave you with this on details. Every detail in your business is either enhancing or detracting from the experience. There is no middle ground. Okay, if you got dusty houseplants in your waiting room, it's detracting. If Marge at the front desk just grunts at people, that's detracting. All right, but if you have a fleet of vehicles and you wash them every morning, well, that's enhancing your brand. And the last part of show is what I call offering anticipatory service. And what this means is obviously exactly what it says. We want to anticipate what the customer is going to ask for. We all have that in our business. We know what the question is going to be. So I'll give you an example. Let's say it's a really hot day out and we walk into a restaurant and we ask for a glass of water and the server says no. Now, we would all agree that's bad service. Well, let's take the same hot day. We walk in to the restaurant, we ask for a glass of water, and they bring it. That's satisfactory service. We asked for something, we got it. Anticipatory service would look like this. Okay, same stinking hot day, we walk into the restaurant, and there standing at the host stand is a server with a tray of both still and sparkling water saying, we know it's really hot outside, would you like some water? We know what they're going to ask for. Why not anticipate it and give it to them ahead of time? Next part of the formula, once we've got a great cast experience and they're delivering the show that we need for our customers, then we need to have production or quality business practices. And these are the processes and systems that we need to run the business. And Disney has a detailed process for freaking everything. Changing a bus tire, carrying a tray in a restaurant. I mean, they leave nothing to chance. Everything has a step-by-step system. And I think you would all agree that nobody comes to Disney for their superior parking experience, right? But if they didn't have a great parking experience, things would break down. I mean, Disney has parking cars down to an efficient science. They want guests to park quickly so that they get in and start spending money, and the guests want to park quickly so they can get in and start having fun. If the parking experience was lousy and they got confused and there was no good transportation, no trams or anything, and the guests were grumpy or frustrated, what don't grumpy, frustrated people do? They don't have fun. And if you're not having fun, you're not going to spend money. And Disney knows this. So what they do is they have this complete system down. And one word I want to leave with you is called plussing. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it, but plussing is Walt's term for process improvement, continuous improvement of the system or the process or the show or whatever. Areas and rides are constantly updated. So think about how you can plus your show as we're going through this. So back to the parking lot. Disney had a problem of lost cars in the parking lot. So this is a picture of the Magic Kingdom parking lot in Orlando. To give you an idea of its size, all of Disneyland and Disneyland's parking lots fit in this parking lot. It's freaking enormous. And if you think back to the 70s and 80s, before we had Uber and all the rideshare stuff, what did you get? You got a rental car from the airport. And every rental car was a white Chevy Impala. And to make it even more difficult to find your car, the rental agencies or the state of Florida put a tag on there and the license plate read rental. So there was no finding your car. So let's imagine you get there early in the morning and you park in this other sea of white Chevy Impalas. Now, Disney thinks they've got it down because they've labeled all of the rows. You can go to Pluto 16 or Goofy 9 or Minnie whatever, right? Well, mom says to dad, write it down. And what does dad say? I'll remember. Right. So the family goes in, they have a great time in the park. They're in there 12, 14, 16 hours. They come out later, they're sunburned, they're malnourished, they're dehydrated and exhausted, and they're ready to find their car. And mama says to dad, okay, where did we park? And dad says, hell if I know. So we just started calling the parking attendants marriage counselors because they saved countless marriages. And what happened is that Disney didn't lose the car, right? But it was Disney's problem because we didn't want people leaving. And the last thing they remember is, a fight with their spouse. We want them leaving thinking about the fireworks and, all the fun stuff they had all day. So the parking attendants came up with the fix. They said, look, we know at about what time people are parking each row. So we'll just keep a log. And at 8 o'clock, we parked Pluto 16, at 8:05, Pluto 17, et cetera, et cetera. So if the guest can at least remember, about what time they entered, they could narrow down those acres and acres of white Chevy Impalas down to a row or two. And that was an employee fix. It wasn't a manager or a leader or some executive. An employee came up with that fix. So the rest of the hidden profit formula, which we didn't have time to talk about direct response marketing today, but it is the marketing that I tell all of my clients and coaching members that they should be practicing. It is the opposite of Goodyear blimp marketing. And all of that equals a profitable future, which is PF. So we have cast plus show plus production, multiply that by our direct response marketing, and we have a profitable future. And I didn't clear my next slide with Coach, so I'm going to skip it. And that, my friends, is it.
All right. Well, thanks, Vance. That was fantastic. Appreciate that. There's quite a few
Any
people on
questions?
that don't have their camera on, by the way, and yeah, they're partaking, but I have it set up so if you don't have your camera on, you don't show up. So you know that was going
Oh,
on
they're
while you're
back.
talking. Yeah. So how about questions? How about anything you want to ask Vance? I know he'll be glad to answer it.
Happily.
Go ahead.
Keith.
Go ahead, Keith.
Yeah, I'm curious about the distinction you made about direct response marketing. I think I know what it is, but
Yep.
you said what it wasn't. It's not the blimp, but what is it?
Sure. So let's take the Goodyear blimp marketing first as the example. Goodyear flies that big blimp over top of all of the stadiums on football day, right? And I guarantee you, if you called up Goodyear the next day and said, how many tires did that blimp sell? They could not tell you. There's no way they can tell you. And how many hundreds of thousands of dollars does it cost to fly a blimp? It ain't cheap. So companies like Coca-Cola, Goodyear, Disney, they can afford these brand imaging kind of things, but they can't measure any of the sales behind it. And as small business owners, if we send $1 out in marketing, as a marketing dollar, we want it to come back with a whole bunch of his little dollar buddies. So direct response is exactly kind of what's in the title. We expect a response from the ad that we are running. So there's always an offer in there, and we can track it. So if you spend, let's just say $10 on an ad in a magazine, and you have a tracking code on there, and you can track all the people that called, and let's just say you made $100. I'm simple math, so you made $100 from that ad. That's a 10-to-1 ROI. You sent $10 out, and 100 came back in. So, I mean, there's a lot more to direct response. If you're interested in it, Dan Kennedy is kind of the godfather of direct response marketing. He's got a great book out there, Direct Response Marketing for Non-Direct Response Companies, something along those lines. And did that help, Keith, or did I make it worse?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, cool.
Good stuff. Any other questions from the floor? Well, Vance, we thank you so much. I think it deserves a whoosh. There's a lot of people on this call that know about what a whoosh is, but I think we should whoosh out of here and whoosh Vance with away, I guess, and get ready in about let's take another 5 minutes. I'm gonna say 5:50. We'll come back and we'll start the must-have business goal exercise. All right. Well, let's whoosh it. Everybody get your hand up there and grab that great stuff that was shared with us from Vance. Thank you so much. Shake out the stuff we got to leave behind. 1, 2, 3, whoosh. What did I say? We'll start right at 5:50.
I've been whooshed.
You've been whooshed.
I could
Yeah.
did you see my hair blow back with the whoosh?
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you so much,
Thank you very
Vance.
much, guys.
Make sure you leave all your contact. I mean, everybody I think knows how to get a hold of you through what we've been doing, but you know, any contact, whatever, and we'll get fired up again in about 7 minutes. Everybody good for a break then, and we'll get into the must-have. Thanks again, Vance.
Thank you.
Yeah, really appreciate it.